Hello everyone, welcome to Bhadra IAS online, the civil service preparation for Nagaland civil service examination. So today we are going to discuss in this short video an important topic which is very much related to current affair as well as prelims exam. So the topic for our discussion today is the concept of poverty. So we try to understand what is poverty and how poverty is traditionally defined. Okay, so if you look at the concept of poverty in India, elsewhere in the world, generally we say what is poverty. So the traditional idea, conventional idea of poverty is that you should have some minimum income for minimum expenditure so that you can purchase the basic human needs. So if a person has the basic minimum income to fulfill the basic needs of his life, then that person is out of poverty. So from this basic minimum needs purchase the income expenditure, we develop a concept what we call poverty line. So what is the idea of poverty line? So the poverty line, generally we say it is the minimum income minimum expenditure which is needed to fulfill our life. So the question is, do you have this minimum income? This minimum income is known as the poverty line. So now the whole idea is that poverty line, if you look at in India, we had the famous Tendulkar committee. The Tendulkar committee defined poverty line like how much money, the income a person should have per day. So according to Tendulkar committee, if a person is in urban area, the minimum income, the poverty line, they fixed at 33 rupees per day. Same in the rural area, they fixed it at 27 rupees per day. So this 33 rupees, 27 rupees is what we call the poverty line. So this idea of poverty is generally what we call the concept of income poverty. Now based on this income poverty, the World Bank also gives the international poverty line which comes for your exam. Prelims exam, you will get this question. So what is the international poverty line at present which is fixed by World Bank? So if you see here, in June 2025, the World Bank fixed the international poverty line, that is the extremely poor, the poverty line, at $3 per day per person. And this was fixed in June 2025. Therefore, for your exam, this will be a current affair. Okay. So if you look at the World Bank poverty, international poverty line, steadily it has increased. In 1990, it was $1. Then it became $1, 0.8, 1.25, 1.90, correct? Now it has been increased further. So the World Bank increased the international poverty line to $3 per day per person. Now one thing you have to understand, this $3 is not equal to exchange rate of 85 rupees. These $3 are estimated in the purchasing power parity. So what is PPP? Purchasing power parity. So the $3 are to be understood in purchasing power parity of the year 2021. That means $1 will be roughly about 21 to 22 rupees. Follow? So $3, you can say it will be roughly 63, 65, below 70 rupees will be the international poverty line. Understood? So exam, you might get this question, be prepared for it. Okay. Now based on the international poverty line, what is the poverty in India? How much is our poverty in India? We can say based on this $3 which is given in recently in 2022-23, India's poverty stands at 5.25%. So we can say poverty in India has reduced considerably and currently it is standing at 5.25%. It is clear? Now we have to understand the new way of estimating poverty. This is called multi-dimensional poverty index. This multi-dimensional poverty index is developed by Oxford University. Okay, so this is called the new understanding of poverty. Earlier what we discussed is the income based poverty. Here we are not talking about only income, we are talking about multi-dimension. So this multi-dimensional poverty line, it has got 3 dimensions. The first one is health, second one is education, and the third one is standard of living. Now based on these 3 dimensions of poverty, Oxford has defined poverty. If a person is deprived 1/3 of these indicators, then that person is multi-dimensionally poor. Clear? That is the new concept of poverty. We are not asking about how much is your income. We are asking whether do you have these indicators, the 10 indicators. So this is the new development introduced by Oxford in 2010. Now in India, we are following the same approach, multi-dimensional poverty index. So let's look at that. In India, who prepares the multi-dimensional poverty index? It is prepared by Niti Aayog. Clear? So Niti Aayog in India is responsible to prepare the multi-dimensional poverty index. So if you see, Niti Aayog launched the National Multidimensional Poverty Index. So far they published 2 reports and 1 review. Now let's look at India's Multidimensional Poverty Index. In this also we have similar to Oxford Index. Okay, 3 dimensions. The first one is health dimension, second one is education dimension, and the third one is standard of living dimension, same like Oxford, but there is a difference. I told you in Oxford we have 10 indicators, but in Niti Aayog we have more indicators. How many? We have 2 more. So in Niti Aayog we have extra 2 indicators. So we have total 12 indicators in Niti Aayog. Remember this for your exam. Oxford has 10 indicators, Niti has 12 indicators. Okay. So which are the 2 extra indicators in Niti? First one, if you look at the health, we have a maternal health. So whether the woman is getting doctor ka facility during her prenatal etc. Right? So that is been checked here. This is extra, which is not there in Oxford. Similarly, when you talk about standard of living, Niti Aayog has one extra indicator. This is called bank account. So we ask the people, do you have a bank account? If they don't have, that means they are deprived. So that will be one indicator for poverty. But if they have the bank account, it becomes a plus point. So Oxford has 10 indicators and Niti has 12 indicators. It is clear now? So this is very important for your exam preparation point of view. Now how do you understand poverty based on this multidimensional poverty index? We normally count poverty in head count ratio. So what is the head count ratio? It is the number of poor people Q divided by total population. That gives you head count ratio. I repeat once again. First the Q you have to find the total number of multidimensionally poor people. The N is what we can say the total population of our country. You multiply this Q by N into 100, you will get percentage. So based on this we say what is the percentage of poverty in India. Understood now? So that is the simple formula given by Niti Aayog how to calculate. Okay. So now let's look at the percentage. So is poverty increasing or is poverty decreasing in India? So if you see here, 2005-6 we had about 55% poverty. It gradually came down as per their estimate in 2022-23. There are 11% of people who are multi-dimensionally poor. Only 11%. But if you go by the World Bank international poverty line, only 5% people are poor. See the difference? In multidimensional, we are saying 11.28% are poor in India. But in World Bank international poverty line, only 5% people are poor. I already shown you that slide. So please try to understand the concept of poverty. Prelims exam it will come, even mains also you will get this. Okay, so you can get question like who developed multidimensional poverty index, how many dimensions are there, how many indicators are there. These are all part of your study for your prelims exam and also possibly mains exam. Okay, so today we try to discuss the concept of poverty. One is the starting, I explained the income poverty, then I explained to you the multidimensional poverty developed by Oxford and adopted by Niti Aayog. Based on this, we have 11.28% of poverty, and based on the income poverty of World Bank international poverty line, we have only 5%. It is clear? Okay. You keep watching our video for more and more topics for your exam preparation. But if you have any query or you want to know any further information, you can contact the academy at 8638391721. Thank you.